Alright, what's up everyone, and welcome to Midtown Manhattan. But on today's walking tour, I wanted to do a complete and total walk of New York City's 8th Avenue. Now, we would usually start the walking tour off on 34th Street and 8th and continue all the way up. But I think we're going to start on 42nd Street today to give you a little bit of a better picture of what it's actually like on a Friday afternoon to walk on New York City's 8th Avenue, starting from the heart of it all, 42nd Street. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. In the distance here, you can see Central Park Tower on New York City's Billionaires Row. And it is quite loud today. This is the main subway entrance to Times Square, 42nd Street. You can get the NQRW shuttle to Grand Central 1, 2, 3, and 7 trains. If you walk over to 8th Avenue, you can get the Blue Line, which is the AC and E trains. Here you have those turnstiles. But the MTA recently added these metal barriers. Apparently it's supposed to stop the fare evasion. I don't really see how it's going to do that, but the MTA claims, and it spent, I think, $50 million to put these little metal barricades on. So I guess if somebody tries to jump it, it'll be a little bit uncomfortable on their hands as they get stabbed with the spikes. In any event, you also have the main customer service center here for the MTA. Oftentimes people ask me to go into the New York City subway just to kind of showcase what it's like. I should note that we are very close to One Times Square, which is now going to be transformed into a museum. So at the top of this building, this is where they usually drop the ball on New Year's Eve. I think last year was the last year they're going to drop the original ball. They're going to be doing something different this year, and atop of One Times Square is going to be a museum. Streets are pretty busy. One of the things you'll notice about New York City on a Friday evening, I would say a little bit earlier, is rush hour actually happens earlier in the day on Fridays. You might be asking yourself why that is. And mainly on Friday, a lot of New Yorkers get off of work early and head out east to the Hamptons, Watermill, and the like. Also, lots of summer homes are on upstate New York. Places like Larchmont, Mamaroneck, even up in Greenwich. So we're now walking westbound on 42nd Street, and we'll go all the way to 8th Avenue. And we'll head southbound first towards 34th Street, in which case we will walk right past the very famous New Yorker Hotel. This is the main theater where you have Aladdin the musical. I gotta give you a quick tip. If you're thinking about visiting New York, I just recently saw MJ the musical. The theater's on 53rd Street, I believe. And I gotta tell you, it was awesome. I didn't think I was gonna like it. Usually, I'm not a big Broadway type of guy. I very, very seldom go to Broadway shows. But if you ever get the opportunity to purchase tickets to MJ the musical, I would totally do it. It was such a fun experience. I believe I saw the 7 o'clock showing, and we got out around 9:30. It was a very, very cool experience. The show was all about the life of Michael Jackson, and with the real hyper focus on his last tour, I believe, like kind of getting in Michael Jackson's brain. You really can see how much of a perfectionist he was, which I never really knew that before. I mean, Michael Jackson was a little bit before my time. In any event, check it out. MJ the Musical, right here in New York City. This is now Madame Tussauds. This is the very famous wax museum. So one of the main reasons why I want to do a specific walk of 8th Avenue is because it's really been a hot spot in Midtown Manhattan, unfortunately, with a lot of crime, a lot of drugs. However, on the bright side, and I do have to give the current administration, the Adams administration, a lot of credit here. They've been doing a lot of good work in cleaning up New York City's 8th Avenue. I think a few days ago there was an unfortunate random stabbing of just a tourist that was trying to get out of the subway. But things are improving. We've done a few walks of 8th Avenue in the past, and each time that we've done the walk, it seems a little bit more orderly, a little bit more clean, and an increase in police presence. So we'll see if today adds to that trend. This is now the corner of 8th Avenue and 42nd Street. We are right across the street from the Port Authority bus terminal. Here you have the main subway entrance. As we talked about, since we're over on 8th Avenue, you could get the AC and E trains here. This is looking northbound. So if you were to take 8th Avenue all the way up, it will run you right into 59th Street, New York City's Columbus Circle. But first, as kind of we explained, we're going to bang this left, looking over at the Port Authority, and we are going to head downtown for now, mainly because I want to go right outside of the New Yorker Hotel. I want to check out the backside of Madison Square Garden and the main entrance to the Moynihan Train Hall before we start to head back up. We're now approaching 41st Street and 8th, and we'll walk right past the main entrance of the New York Times building. The New York Times building sits between West 40th and West 41st Street, and virtually across the street from the Port Authority bus terminal. The exact address is 620 8th Avenue. And you also have the enterprise software giant Datadog that has their offices in this building. They're a publicly traded company under the ticker symbol DDOG. My one hope regarding the Port Authority, I really hope they do a similar project like they did at the Penn 2 project. If you're not familiar with the Penn 2 project, please go watch our walking tours of the Penn District. That is the revitalization project of the Penn District put on by Vornado. Because the Port Authority, as you can see here, I mean, it looks horrible, doesn't it? I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I think a city like New York deserves a state-of-the-art transit hub that doesn't look like a prison, right? Not to be hypercritical of it, but if we could have something similar to the Penn 2 project right here on 42nd Street, that would be amazing. And I think we're going to get it. Okay, let's continue on our way down. You're gonna see a lot of like small pizza shops, smoke shops all up and down 8th. Also a lot of the cannabis dealers and distributors. I've actually had this dim sum place before. It's quite good. Kung Fu Kitchen. Usually my go-to spots are in Chinatown on Mott Street specifically. If you're wondering what my top recommended Chinese restaurant is in Manhattan, the address is 69 Mott Street and it's called 456 New Shanghai. That is the best, in my opinion, Chinese restaurant in New York. Once again, that's 69 Mott Street. You know, I'd say so far, since it's a Friday and there's a lot of people out, 8th Avenue looks a lot less kind of sketchy. But, you know, a lot of these stores have been popping up all over the place. It's almost like you have a new one every single day around the city, these cannabis stores. And a lot of the commercial spaces that we have up for rent, you will get a lot of interest from these smoke shops and cannabis stores. And what they'll do is they'll actually offer you over asking on your rent. And since right now, well, in the past, I wouldn't really say right now, there was very, very high vacancy for, you know, retail storefront commercial space in New York. A lot of landlords were getting desperate and just taking it, right? Even though they kind of provide a slight bit of degradation to the community. It's just my own personal opinion. And some of them, not all of them, but some, right, can get caught doing nefarious activities and things like that. But oftentimes those smoke shops will offer over asking on the rent. And landlords that need the rent, they'll just take it. You're even starting to see those cannabis smoke shops on Central Park South now. But I guess it's all subjective, right? I may not like it, but maybe somebody else does. Maybe people think it's great to have in the community. Okay, we're now approaching West 37th Street, and we'll be able to see the New Yorker Hotel in just a minute, which is a really beautiful, beautiful building.
I mean, the other straight voltage I can think of.
If you like Art Deco style, you'll probably also like the JW Marriott Essex House that sits right at Central Park South. That's another really gorgeous building. By the way, they just renovated that. So if you walk in the Essex House on your travels to New York, you'll be greeted with this amazing, expansive new lobby and a brand new steakhouse called Bourbon Steak that is now attached to the lobby of the hotel. They did a really, really good job on the renovations. You know, this is another coffee chain that's all over New York. This Gregory Coffee, but I'm not a big fan. I've been to it a couple times. A lot of people really like it. Not a huge fan of Gregory's. I've mentioned this before on a prior walking tour, that Luckin Coffee just opened up in New York City on 28th Street and 6th Avenue. And the thing about Luckin Coffee is that it's technically, right, I'm using air quotes here, so much cheaper than all of its competitors, right? But if you look at their list price on their website or on their application, the lattes and the drinks will be $7, $7.50, just like at Starbucks. But every time you purchase something at Luckin Coffee, they give you a 50% off coupon that expires in 5 days, right? So essentially, if you go once a week, you get everything 50% off. And a lot of Chinese companies kind of do that. It's kind of like gamifying it. So it's much, much more affordable than a big brand, but I think it has similar quality. And as always, Luckin Coffee used to be publicly traded in the United States on the NASDAQ, but it was delisted due to accounting fraud, but it is a real company. All right, everybody. Here we have it, the New Yorker Hotel, right here on the corner between West 34th Street and West 35th Street. It's really, really a beautiful building. This is looking southbound on 8th Avenue towards Madison Square Garden. Perhaps we'll continue to walk down to 34th, just so you can see a little bit better picture of the building from afar.
Open the door by himself to my bedroom. I close him out.
You also have the TikTok Diner. This is going to be the view of the day. Check that out. Stunning, stunning view of the Empire State Building. This is one of my favorite places to stand during sunset, seeing the Empire State Building. And then, of course, here we have that New Yorker hotel. You know what? Since we're here, you guys want to take a look in the lobby? We might as well, right? Lots of construction going on, too. So in the distance, you have Madison Square Garden, a little bit of the Penn 2 project. You have One Penn Plaza and the Empire. Here we have the entrance to the TikTok Diner.
Okay.
Not too sure how long this scaffolding is going to be over the entire thing, but I actually think the lobby is quite nice. So let's go ahead and check it out, everyone. Welcome to the very famous lobby of the New Yorker. Really nice branding here. And you have really nice Art Deco style throughout. Get a load of that chandelier though, that's really beautiful. Here's the main welcome desk where you could check in. What do you guys think? I really like the moldings on the ceiling.
Just wait for me, okay?
It's a beautiful lobby. And then to the right of us, you'll have the entrance to the TikTok Diner. Right through here. It's a very convenient. The New Yorker Hotel also has dormitories for the CUNY students. Now crossing West 35th Street to the northbound side. One of the things I like that the city did to 8th Avenue is they'd expanded this sidewalk here. So you can see the original sidewalk that we're walking on, but this is also a walk pathway, and then you have a dedicated bike lane too. So it makes it a little bit safer for the pedestrians. It's really nice. This is the Doubletree Hotel by Hilton, Times Square on 8th. They have public outdoor space in front. And this is West 37th Street. If you're looking for something interesting to do that's kind of out of the ordinary in New York, if you're visiting, and if you're in the Times Square area, what I would do is I would just walk all the way to the Hudson River and check out the Intrepid. For those of you who don't know, the Intrepid is a decommissioned aircraft carrier that they've turned into a museum on Manhattan's West Side. It's very cool. We're now going to cross 42nd Street northbound, and we'll head up towards 59th Street, Columbus Circle. Maybe since we're filming on 8th Avenue, I'll take everybody inside another building today, which is the Deutsche Bank Center.
That's for real shit.
This is the Holiday Inn. And we'll check out a really nice view of the New York Times building. In a little bit, we'll talk about one of the most unique buildings that is set to come to 8th Avenue, right across the street from the Restaurant Road District. You guys got to look this up. It's called The Torch, and the developer on the deal is Extel. So the same company that pioneered New York City's Billionaires Row is going to be building this unbelievably unique building on 8th Avenue that's going to have this Las Vegas style ride attraction at the top. This is the main entrance to the Port Authority here. So if you want to get a bus out to New Jersey, this is where you would go. We're now coming up to the corner of 42nd Street and 8th Avenue. I really like these new billboards. They're so vivid. I'm not sure how it comes out on the camera, but these are insane. It's like you can't see any pixels on it at all. It's amazing. Just the quality of the technology is unbelievable. On the corner on our left is the Ellery, which is a brand new rental apartment building. They have studios to 2-bedroom rental residences looking right at the Port Authority. I don't know if I'd like that, but you're going to start to see a lot of this neighborhood be redeveloped from those old pre-war buildings that are kind of ratty. Most of them will probably be torn down, and in its place will be those luxury rental apartment buildings. But check it out, it's called the Ellery. It's right there on the left. And of course, this is looking into the heart of Times Square. Ooh, look at this pigeon drinking that water. Got an abandoned city bike to your left. This is now West 43rd Street. And in one more block, we're going to come up on the Row NYC. It's actually quite beautiful looking building. It's centered in the frame right now. And that was at the time of the New York City migrant crisis, the largest migrant intake facility in New York, up there with the Roosevelt Hotel. Wow, this place looks new. This Emperor Dumpling, look at that. Dumplings, noodles, dim sum, and Asian fusion food. I'll have to check it out. There's always new spots opening up on 8th Avenue. This is the main Shake Shack here on the corner of West 44th Street and 8th. Once again, we are on West 44th Street and 8th Avenue now. Here we have the Row NYC. Wow, here we have it. Looks like the building's going up now. This is the Torch by Extel. You can see Morgan Stanley up there. Again, look up some of the renderings online. This is going to be a huge project. The Torch NYC. It's pretty crazy. It's going to be built around these 3 holdouts. We'll have to film sort of like a time lapse as this progresses, but this is going to be, I believe, over 1,000 feet tall. It's going to have a hotel component, but it's also going to have an amusement park like attraction at the top. And this is now New York City's Restaurant Row. So West 46th Street, between 8th and 9th Avenue, is the Restaurant Row district in New York. So if you're here for a Broadway show or a performance, and if you want to get something to eat, but you don't want to go too far away from where you have your theater, just come right here. There's a lot of good restaurants right off of 8th Avenue. My favorite Italian restaurant is down here called Becco, B-E-C-C-O. It's not the best food, but it's a really, really fun time. I'll also point out where the theater was, where I saw the MJ, the musical. It was a great show. This is a very, very cool shot looking across town. If you zoom in, you can see 270 Park Avenue, which is the new JP Morgan Chase office tower. Very cool. This is now 47th Street, and we'll pass the Engine 54 Ladder 4 Battalion 9 of the FDNY. Looks like the FDNY is just getting home. Let's watch them perfect this three-point turn to the firehouse. Pretty cool. Yeah, I think a lot of these pre-war buildings are probably going to come down and get sold. Especially this little block here between 47th and 48th. I think all these got to go. It just doesn't, these just don't look good here, in my opinion. Maybe somebody will come in, buy them, and build apartments or something of the like. But you know what, this hotel here is pretty new. It's called the Kipton Hotel Theta, and I always recommend this hotel for people to stay when they're coming to New York if you want to be close to Times Square but have a new clean hotel to stay in. This is a newer hotel. The lobby's very nice and it's quite affordable. So if you're looking to, you know, do all the touristy stuff near Times Square, but, you know, not stay in some of the dirtier Times Square-like hotels, I would check out the Kipton Theta. This place behind us looks new too. Look at this, Three Kingdoms Barbecue. I'll have to check that out. It smells good. It says the soft opening of Three Kingdoms Barbecue. This is the famous Worldwide Plaza building. I believe you have Mizuho or Nomura is in here. Here you can get the C and the E trains downtown or uptown. This is the 50th Street station. We got about 9 blocks until we are at Columbus Circle. As you get up towards Billionaires Row, you'll start to see the skyline grow a little bit, especially as Central Park Tower comes into view. All right, 52nd Street. If you make a right here, this will be the main theater where they do the MJ the Musical. Great show, good performance. I had a really, really good time there, and I would highly recommend it. The theater's in between 8th Avenue, right on the corner of 52nd Street. It's called the Neil Simon Theater. You can see it a little bit, but it's the building with the red awnings. The very famous Neil Simon Theater. This is 53rd Street. If you make a right, you'll walk right into 53 West 53rd. You can kind of see the building a little bit here. It's that one building with the very, very pointy top. It's a very, very expensive building that's categorized as a Billionaires Row style building. The spot to the left of us, this Pick-a-Bagel, is very good as well. Ooh, we're going to be able to see the spire of 220 Central Park South. I got to pull off to the side to show you guys this. This is the Vornado development. The Art Deco one. Right there. That is 220 Central Park South. That's one of the most expensive apartment buildings in New York City and one of the most sought after apartment buildings in New York. Again, the developer is Vornado. They're publicly traded under the ticker symbol VNO. And then you have Robert A.M. Stern, who is the architect. And as you know, the same architect that did 15 Central Park West, that's known for those beautiful limestone facades.
You a pussy, bro. You don't really put nothing.
And that is Central Park Tower. 1,550 feet tall. Just an insane monster. That's the same developer who's doing the Torch building on 8th and Restaurant Row. Right here is the famous Soup Nazi place from Seinfeld. On 55th Street and 8th. If anybody's a big Seinfeld fan, you can check that out. And you have Dave's Hot Chicken across the street, which I think they sold for just an insane valuation. They sold to private equity. I forget the amount they sold it for, but I think it might have been around $6 billion they sold Dave's Hot Chicken. Here you have a good shot of those pre-war buildings. It's always kind of cool looking at it. Look at how cool this building is. This is called the Hearst Tower, between 56th and 57th Street on 8th. Such a unique architectural marvel, that building. But now we can see Columbus Circle and Central Park as we approach 57th Street, Billionaires Row. Now you have a great shot of 157 West 57th Street, the original building on Billionaires Row. That's also the building that the crane flew off during Hurricane Sandy. And then Central Park Tower.
Something like that.
And we've made it to Columbus Circle. If you enjoyed that walking tour of 8th Avenue, leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and as always, we will see you all in the next one. And thank you so much for joining. Take care.